Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome back to the 16th episode of the Sport and Updates podcast. I'm your host, as always, Sam Fonseca, and today I'm joined by my very good friend, Steph. How you doing today, Steph?
Yeah, I'm doing pretty good. So we won against Portuguese last game for Liga. So we did what we're supposed to, and then we said when we watched the Clásico Porto against Benfica, they tied the game like most Portuguese won it. So we tied in first place now with the FCP with 33 points, and Benfica is still in the fight, and so to speak, second place, but it's third place because of a goal differential between Porto and Sporting, and they have 30 points. So it's a great race, and I'm not counting out Braga, which they have 28 points. So this league, our league, just became very interesting. So that's a good thing.
Indeed, it has. And just quickly before we get into it, Danny couldn't join us today. Something came up with him, so he'll probably be with us back on the next episode. So don't miss him for too long. You've just got us two today, which is the original members. So, and without further ado, we haven't got any questions. We haven't got any gibberish stuff. We're going straight into the game against Belenenses, which I believe ended in 2-0. Is that right? Or am I just being stupid? Was it
No,
2-0?
no, 1-0 only.
1-0. Okay,
Yeah.
sorry. I feel sick, so the brain's not working as it usually does. So the lineup for this game is as followed: Rui Patricio in goal, Piccini, El Patron, Sebastian Coates, Jeremy Mateu, Fabio Coentrao, Battaglia, William, Bruno Fernandes, Acuna, Gelson Martins, and Bas Dost. So Steph, what did you think of the game?
Did you say Podence?
No. Did I
Okay,
miss him out? I
yeah,
said
you
Bruno
did.
Fernandes.
Yeah. Bruno Fernandes was also in the lineup. Yeah, so
Dear.
and Podence, yeah. So well, the game at the beginning, Sporting came blazing. The first 25 minutes, we were in full control of the game. We suffocated Bolnitz. We played extremely well, and we scored off a penalty kick, which everyone agrees it was a penalty kick, and Bajdos scored with a lot of class. We were up 1-0, and we close to getting 2-0, and then we took the foot off the accelerator, the pedal, and we gave the reins to Bulnis, and they they basically like of a striker, and that's why they didn't score, but they were playing quite a lot on our midfield, and they were being very aggressive. And me as a fan, I was not liking it because at any given point, a cross with a own goal like today, match here against Barcelona, for example, could have happened, or a lucky shot 30 yards off the box. Uh, like always, like Sporting always, suffers those kind of goals. People shooting from the midfield and a great goal on the top angle. So I was like concerned, but you know what? We were pragmatic. Sporting held the 1-0, but then in the second half, again, Belnins came blazing again, and they were so dangerous, especially off the wings. Finally, Jorge Jesus realized he needed to make a sub, and we had Battaglia coming in, which was very needed, and it stabilized the midfield. Of course, Podence had to come out, but we needed Battaglia at that time, and he got a little bit better. But Belenenses were still dangerous, and we got lucky just because they don't have a good striker, and we held on to the 1-0, and that allowed us to catch up to Football Club Porto. Now we are in first place with the same points. They only beat us by the goal average. At this point in time, it's the goal average that matters. It's not the confrontation between clubs. So people fully understand that. But Benfica also went to Dragão, and they tied the game, and they only 3 points away. So which is nothing. We still have the whole second round of games, and we in round 13 against Boavista will be round 14. So Sporting has to continue to do what we did against Belenenses, winning these very dangerous games. 1-0 is a win. It's 3 points, and even though it was not a beautiful game, because it was not, especially for the fans watching the game at Estádio José Alvalade. They were expecting more goals. They were expecting to be an easy win, but it was not. Belenenses is a good team too. They have a good coach, Domingos, and he knew exactly how to set up his team. and they didn't create any dangerous plays, but they kept on staying in our midfield, and that got on my nerves a little bit because I was concerned, like a lucky shot, a deflection. That was my most concern, a set piece, but it didn't happen. Thank goodness. So the 1-0 was actually a friend's court for Sporting. It was a penalty. No one is doubting that. I haven't heard any feedback from Benfiquistas or Portistas or Trio de Tax or Tempo Extra. Everyone agrees it was a penalty. He clearly pushed Podence. With that said, I mean, that's it. The man of the match for me. We'll talk about that, but why don't you give your feedback now?
Yeah, I'm going to pretty much agree with you. I was actually surprised that Belenenses actually came attacking because usually we play against teams like that and they sort of park the bus and wait for us to make a mistake before they capitalise. But to their credit, they didn't stop attacking us, which obviously I felt put a lot of pressure on the defenders. I didn't think they played as well as they have done in the last few games. Podence, I thought, even though I did forget him out of the lineup, I do think he is very important to this team, even though he is a what you'd call it. I know you call them in America like role players to come off the bench and do their thing. But I think in crucial games, as we get down the stretch, if we play against a Benfica or a Porto, and say it's 0-0 or it's 1-1, if we get that Podence in for, I don't know, Bruno Fernandes or even a Dost, that he could go and change the whole game. He's got that impact. It's just he's so quick and he's so good on the ball that every time he gets the ball, you know it's going to end in a good thing. I don't think Podence did much wrong last game. Coates, like I said earlier, I thought he probably didn't have the best game of his career. He looked a bit sloppy at times, but then again, so did the whole defenders. What else? Yeah, the penalty as well. Agree. It's a push. If anyone says that's not a penalty, then you need to look at the rules again because pushing the back in the penalty area is always going to be a penalty. Like I said, Podence winning that, so another reason why I thought he played so well. What else happened in this game? I actually, to be honest with you, so long ago now that I've lost a bit of memory towards it. So if you want to give your man of the match on this game, go ahead.
Yeah, so basically, I was very pleased with Brian Ruiz. He almost scored that minute 86. He had a
Oh
beautiful,
yeah, off the line. Yeah.
yeah. And then the defender, the, Florent, which is French, he just got the ball off the line just by a few seconds. So that would have been awesome. But we did what we're supposed to do because we're going to have a lot of games like this that we're not going to win by 2, 3, 4, nothing. If as a fan, we always want a comfortable win because it's better for me, it's better for you. It's more enjoyable. But these games will have to be, the 1-0 will happen a lot, and as long as we win and we able to control the anxiety and Sporting is doing that. They were pragmatic, and I like that. Finally, we won 1-0, but no one freaked out. Everyone was a cool customer, controlling the game, and I like that too. So the man of the match for me, I would say it was Gerson Martins. I like what he did. He was aggressive. He played defense. To me, he was my man of the match. What about you, Sam?
I was going to go either with him or Dost because obviously Dost got the important goal. But just because you picked Jarlson, I'll go with Dost, the main man. Yeah, Dost is my man of the match for that game. Who was your worst player of that game? Or it's not worst, but needs to improve, let's say.
Acuna, actually. Acuna was off sync a little, but that's understandable. I mean, I do realize he just came back from an injury, but he was off sync, and then that's why he was subbed. Because you could clearly see that he lacks a rhythm, which is expected. But that's Jorge Jesus has to give him minutes so he can get back to his form. And today against Barcelona, he actually played better. But Acuna is going to come back nice and strong, so because we need him. But I was very pleased with Brian Ruiz's performance. He played like 20 minutes, I believe, or so. And that's important for him too. He needs minutes as well. He's going to be a perfect fit. I hope JJ plays him as a winger and not as a number 8. I don't know. I don't see him as a number 8. So, but you can maybe he'll prove me wrong, and because I think he wants to adapt him as a number 8, like the backup of Bruno Fernandes. So, or William Carvalho. So maybe he sees something I'm not seeing. Most of the fans, and if he proves me wrong, I'm gonna love it because we do need someone to replace Bruno Fernandes once in a while, or even William Carvalho. They need to rest because we have a very important game coming up on Saturday against Boavista. So today he couldn't play because he wasn't registered for the Champions League, Brian Ruiz. But because if he was, then I would have put him on the pitch. But besides that, yeah, that's it. I think Cunha was the one that was a little bit below average, but it's expected because he just came back from an injury. But something I like to mention is, and people, especially the media, is so fast in criticizing when Fabio Contra only plays 75 minutes or 70 minutes or 50 minutes. Well, guess what? It's been a stretch of 4 games in a row. He's been playing 90 minutes, and now the media doesn't say anything. So I just would like to say a big thank you to our medical staff at Sporting because they've done an amazing job with Fábio Coentrão. Back to back to back 90 minutes, 4 times, 4 games in a row. That's something, isn't it? So yeah, so it's he's here to stay, Fábio Coentrão, and I hope we keep him for an extra year, whatever we have to do with Barcelona, with the Real Madrid, I mean, and he's impressing me a whole lot. So he gives a lot of security to the left wing. But besides that, tough win, very tough win. But nevertheless, we deserved to win. We were more pragmatic. We had more chances to score goals, more than Belenenses. Belenenses was dangerous in our midfield, but they have no reference as a forward, and they struggled. They had Hugo Viana, but he didn't do much. And what was the player that got me a little bit concerned? Freddie.
Oh,
Yeah.
I don't like that guy.
Yeah, he was way too fast. So he caused a lot of headaches. But if you look at the whole game, he bothered you a lot because he kept on switching wings, and he was very fast. But then no one could assist him in helping him to actually score against Sporting because Rui Patricio, he was like a spectator. He didn't do much at all. So to conclude, we deserved the win, and it was a tough win and very important because half an hour later we had the Porto Benfica, and now we're in first place with Porto. But this only means something if we win next game against Boavista. If we lose against Boavista, tie, everything that we've done it was for nothing. So we have to go over there and not be intimidated and play what we know we play. We have a better team and win the game.
Fair enough. I wanted just to talk about some of your points you made. The first one about Brian Ruiz, you said you wanted him to play on the wing instead of a number 8 or instead of like William Carvalho's position. But with me, I really don't know where Brian Ruiz's best position is because I think he's way too slow to be a winger. He's not strong enough and agile enough to be a holding midfielder, to be that number 8. Maybe the best role for him is behind Bas Dost or behind Doumbia wherever he plays. Or maybe his role is just to come off the bench and give us some extra energy where we're lacking it. But other than that, I really can't see in a position that I would be like, okay, yeah, fair enough. Brian Ruiz can do better than him, or Brian Ruiz can have an impact on the game. Because let's be honest, the man, what is he, 34? And I know it's not old in actual terms, but in football terms, it's quite old. Especially, he hasn't played since a full 90 minutes, probably since last April, let's say, or maybe even May. But I don't think if we can't sell him in January, which I think is the plan, to get some game time just to see if there's any potential suitors out there, then I don't understand why we still have him. Because if you look at the players we have, so if we're talking about wingers alone, so we've got Acuna, we've got Gelson, we've got Yuri, we've got Podence play on the wing, and all 4 of them are better than Brian Ruiz at the moment. I'd even say Bruno Lazar's play on the wing I'd rather have instead of Brian Ruiz. So there's those five. And then you've got behind the striker, you've got Bruno Fernandes. Obviously, you've got Podence again. Even, like I said, Bruno Cesar. You could even play Doumbia behind Bastos. There is not much space for Brian Ruiz to get game time. And that is where I think when I see a lot of Sporting fans getting pissed off when Brian Ruiz is brought on. And I do have to agree, even though you said that he had that chance where he lobbed the keeper and it fell off the line, if he just did that a couple of seconds earlier instead of waiting for the defender to get back in a defensive position, that would have been a goal. And that's what I think a lot of people were saying at the time. But to his credit, I didn't think Brian Ruiz played too badly. I thought for a man who hasn't played in minutes in a very long time, that he was decent. But other than that, like I said, I'm not sure where he fits in. The Cohen Trout thing as well, I agree with you that I saw a stat the other day that he's played more minutes this season than he has in the last excuse me, last four seasons or 5 seasons combined. And when you think about that, that is just fantastic. And I think at the start, I'm not sure what you thought, Steph, but I thought he was a bit of a liability at left back, that he didn't play very well. There was that rumour that George Jesus isn't going to extend his loan, to make it a permanent deal. But after the last couple of games, I'd say this last month or 2 months of stretch, that I feel like Fabio Contrao is pivotal to this team. Do you think we should buy him back for next year, or even try to loan him back for next year?
Well, I don't think the problem is buying him. The problem is if he's willing to lower his salary. I mean, he makes a ridiculous amount of money at Real Madrid. So that's the problem. If he's willing to say, "Listen, all we could pay you, it's 2.5. That's our cap at Sporting." Then maybe we'll get him. But if he says, "Nah, I still want to be paid 6 million," then we're not going to get him.
Yeah, but that being said, he has been playing very well. So it wouldn't surprise me if he was looking for maybe another team, maybe a French league team, or even a team in, like, because in those countries like America, China, Saudi Arabia, just where he can get a little bit the same money. Because I don't think you'll see a Premier League side take a gamble on him, or a Spanish league. Maybe a team like Valencia could take a gamble on him. But other than that, I really don't see where he'd go other than the Portuguese league. Everyone's a lot of people have been saying, "Oh, he'll probably go back to Benfica," because he said it multiple times. I know there was that thing that he's been supporting since youngster, but the things he said to Benfica, you can't deny that. If he probably had the opportunity to choose between one or the other, I think he'd choose Benfica. Would you agree?
Benfica over who?
Over us?
No, of course not.
Really?
I don't know. You must be watching some scary movie or something.
Conspiracy theories.
Conspiracy. Yeah, no, it's not. I mean, it's all about Benfica can afford him either. Benfica's not going to pay him 6 million. They're not that stupid. He's playing well now, but he's still a liability when it comes to injuries. So if he wants to stay at Sporting, he's going to have to lower his salary. Not even Benfica will pay him 6 million. Not even Porto will pay him 6 million. Like you just said, your assessment was totally correct. You hit it right on the nail. If he goes to China or Saudi Arabia and he wants to, to make that money, he will get that money. But not even in the French league. I don't think he'll be going to a French league or an Italian league, because you know what? In Sporting, JJ knows him, and JJ likes him, and then he's playing because of JJ. If he goes to any other team, they're not going to play him. It's that simple. They will not play him. JJ tolerates him a lot because they've known each other since Rio and then Benfica. So he's known him all his life, and he's the one who brought him up and made him a professional player. And everybody knows Fabio Cointran because of JJ. So the chemistry between them two, it's the most important key for his success, for Fabio Cointran's success, because he's basically saying, "Don't worry about it. I'm gonna believe in you. I'm going to play you." Now, if he goes to a French league, Paris Saint-Germain or a Lyon or a Monaco, maybe Monaco because Leonard Jardim kind of knows him. But besides that, they're not going to start him. If he goes to China, yeah, to make 6 million a year, yeah, he'll play. If he goes to Saudi Arabia, the same thing. But any other league, European league, a competitive league, he's not going to play. So, like you said, he's got two choices. It's either you tell Sporting, I want to stay, I don't mind making, I want to be paid as well as Rui Patricio, all your top players. That's what I want, but I'll lower my salary. Then he'll stay with us, and Sporting will say yes. Other than that, he's on his way to China or Saudi Arabia, or maybe if a team from Switzerland. But that's the thing. Who can afford 6 millions? Only a Bayern Munich, Manchester United, Paris Saint-Germain, or Juventus. It's very limited. You know what I mean? And I
Yeah,
don't think any of these teams are interested in Fabio Cointran whatsoever.
fair enough. I've just got two more points. This one, since we're on the topic of the league, I was going to wait to the end of the episode, but I've changed my mind. So we're on the topic of the league. Next game is against the Boavista. What is your predictions for that game?
Well, that game, Boavista, he plays tough against, always plays tough against the big three, always. It doesn't make any difference if it's Sporting, Porto, Benfica. They always play very tough. So I'm expecting a very tough game. I'm predicting we win 1-0 or 2-1, but we have to be on our A game, and that's why today against Barcelona we saw a lot of changes because JJ clearly and in a very intelligent way, he was already thinking about Boavista. And that's the most important game for any fan that has both feet on the ground because we haven't won the Liga NOS in 15 years. Well, there's many reasons why. Now we know why, but let's not talk about that because if we did, that's another show and we don't have a lot of time today. But maybe one day we will invite some people, some of our rivals, and we'll talk about it. But anyway, it's a long time, so let's keep focus on Liga NOS. Let's win against Boavista. We still qualified for the Liga Europa, the European League, and now the European League. It's only in February, so now we can focus on Liga NOS, Taça da Liga, the League Cup, and the Portuguese Cup. And the Portuguese Cup, let's be honest, it's an easy game against Vila Verdense. So that's a third division team. We could basically put on the pitch some players from the B team and players that need rhythm again. So we'll be able to rest some of our key players for the Taça Portugal. We got lucky with the draw. So me personally, I want to be champion of Portugal because it's due. We have to be. I want the title 23. So there it is.
Fair enough. I'm going to agree with you on the 1-0 Boavista, but I can see it being very similar to the Belenenses game in the fact that Boavista aren't going to just sit back and defend. Like you said, they play very well against the big three. So I assume they're going to play very well. But that being said, they don't have Leonardo Ruiz, but obviously because he's a loan from Sporting, so he's not allowed to play. So that obviously will be a miss for them as well. But I don't think you count out their other players like Rui Pedro. I know he's a good player. So I think Sporting need to concentrate, but they need to not think that this is a game that's already won because we've seen that before a few times this season where we go to a lower team and we're like, okay, this should be an easy victory, and it ends up being a 1-1 or a 0-0. So as long as we don't be overconfident, I think we can get a result. And to end this part, Sporting issued a statement and West Ham issued a statement saying there was a breakdown of communications for the transfer of William and that they'll be back on negotiating terms. So my question to you, Steph, is William gone in January?
It depends. If they pay the full amount of 45 millions, yep, he's gone. It's that simple because that's why you have those kind of clauses is to prevent certain players to be sold by a ridiculous, lower price. And then if they meet the 45 millions, and if I'm Bruno Carvalho, if I'm Sato Sporting, I'll say, listen, let's not, play these stupid games and don't bullshit me. You pay me 45 millions, no 20% this and 10% this and 5% later, and I hate that shit really. If you pay me the full amount, 40 million, you got him. If you don't, game over. That's the end of the conversation. And if they do, then hey, he's got to go because let's be realistic. Sporting needs the money. We have some key players, the up and coming. Palhinha is basically waiting for somebody to be sold in that position so he can grab the starting 11. I hope he doesn't go. I hope he only goes summertime so we can increase his value with the World Cup. Um, and that's my guess. I think Sporting will keep him until the summertime, and then that's when it will they will be willing to sell him. But again, if they pay the 45 million, I don't think Sporting can hold him. I think they'll pressure to his agent, and William Carvalho will say, "Hey, they meeting your goal, which is 45 million. So now why aren't you selling me?" Uh, so that's the only way it'll be sold if they pay the 45 million. If they don't pay the 45 million, they start playing these stupid games of 40, 42, and 43, and you keep 2%, and you keep that, and then it won't be sold.
Fair enough. But I think, in my honest opinion, that I think William would be stupid to agree. Because I know, obviously, Sporting have to agree with his 45 million, but William can always say no to West Ham. And I think, honestly, this winter, summer, if he wants to go to West Ham, excuse me, fine. But in the winter, if you look where West Ham are now, they're near bottom of the Premier League. They've got a manager who is known for not being tactically superior, and they're just on the decline. I don't see if William goes that he won't change that. If you know what I mean, he's not going to go to West Ham and they're suddenly going to be great. I think if I'm William, it's the World Cup year. I'm not going to be on a team that is possibly in the relegation battle with the Premier League. I want to be on a team that is plays in the Europa League week in and plays and for the title week in and week out. So for me, if honestly, I think William should reject. Although obviously the money and that is a different story, but I think he should reject West Ham in the winter and wait for them to come back in the summer, because World Cup year he needs to be playing regularly and playing well, and I think he'll only do that at Sporting. Without further ado, I guess we'll go on to the Champions League game. Steph, do you happen to have the lineup for this one, because it's a weird one?
Yeah, yes, I'll give the lineup. So we had the goalie Rui Patricio. Then we had Cristiano Piccini, El Patron Coates, Jeremy Mathieu, and Brun Cesar at the left fullback position. Then we had Bataglia as number 6, William Carvalho as number 8. Then, surprisingly, as a winger, we had Stefan Ristovski. That was surprising. Then we had Bruno Fernandes, Acuna, and don't know why, but Alain Ruiz. That was surprising to me. And anyway, so let me give you my 2 cents about the game. This game was a little bit frustrating because it looked like we kind of gave up from the get-go. I was actually on my Twitter account tweeting with some journalists from Catalonia. For some reason, he commented on one of my tweets. So I said, okay, game on. You want to comment? I'll comment too. So we going back and forth. And then, because I said our secret weapon will be Bastos. And then he's asking me, what happened to your secret weapon? So then I said to him, well, JJ decided not to play him because we have a very important game coming up for Liga against Boa Vista. And then he's like, seriously? I'm like, yeah, seriously. Like, you guys didn't play Jordi, didn't play Sergio Busquets, didn't play Messi. You're not taking it seriously. You are thinking about Villarreal, which is their next game too. So then we went on, but the bottom line was that any fan that was paying attention to this game realized that, okay, both coaches, treating this game as a preseason game. Basically, giving minutes to some youth, giving minutes to some players to regain the rhythm, and like Jorge Jesus for the first time, he played with 3 sweepers. He gave a shot to a different tactic, which was okay, but we didn't go for the win today. This team was not a winning team. This team was a invention by Jose Jesus. He make up some. I'm not gonna say bullshit team, but some crazy glue team to see if he stick to the wall, and it didn't stick. Basically, Barcelona is still with the with some players that they are up and coming. They still control the game. I mean, we had a couple chances for goal I'm talking about the first half, because the second half it's a totally different ball game. But the on the first half, the 0-0, it was a fair and square score. No one deserved to score at all. Both goalies were basically not doing much at all. We had a couple, shots at goal, but nothing significant. And then in the second half, it was a different ball game. Sporting put the top guns. They put Justin Martins and they put Bas Dost. We played a little bit better. And then, of course, off a corner kick, here we go. We another set piece. It's always like that. We lost against Barcelona with two set pieces, two own goals. So Barcelona was not superior to Sporting. But today's game, we didn't play our best players because we kind of knew that Juventus would win Olympiacos, and they did. They won 1-0, and we had no chance of qualifying to the round 16. But we could have made history if we played our A team and won at Camp Nou. But for what? For then on Saturday against Boavista, we have our team all exhausted and then lose that game, and then it would have been okay. We went against Barcelona, which made no difference because we're still going to Liga Europa, and now against Boavista, we need a fresh legs, and we don't have them. So either way, JJ would have been criticized. So I think it was a good assessment to give minutes to some players like he did. And to me, the play that really surprised me was Bas Dost. I mean, you guys scored those goals. He had two great chances, and he didn't finish them, and that's a shame because we could have been at one point up by 2-1. You gotta bury those goals. You can't. I mean, what else do you want? That was a perfect cross. By Bruno Fernandes. I mean, you gotta score that. And then the other cross from the left wing. I mean, he shanked it. It should have been a goal too. So that's the two chances of scoring and being up by 2-1. It would have been delicious, but it didn't happen. So the 2-0 by Barcelona, it's well deserved because they were more pragmatic. And let's move on. I mean, it didn't matter if we won. Juventus won anyway. So Liga Europa is great. We still in the fight, and in the Liga Europa, I think we'll have a better shot of winning it than Champions League. The Champions League in the round 16, we would have played maybe a Real Madrid or Manchester United, and I mean, I'm just being realistic. I don't think we had a chance to win Champions League, but Liga Europa, we might have a shot. We're going to be top seeded, so we should be able to go far in Liga Europa, and most Portuguese agree with me. The main focus is Liga NOS. Let's win that Portuguese title. We do for that. That's my main concern. It's Liga NOS.
Fair enough. I agree with the points, but the team selection, yeah, I get where you're coming from. We've obviously got a game against Boavista. We want to rest players, but that doesn't give formation that he played, which to me I think just doesn't suit us at all. Which is the 3-4-3. Bruno Cesar and Ristovski and Acuna as wing backs. I feel limits them too greatly because they have to defend much more. When you said he had a better game, but I feel like if he's played on the wing, we would have had a much better game. I don't see why he switched formation from the last time we played against Barcelona, because I think against Barcelona we played well. Obviously not offensively, but on the defensively side we played. But like I said, I get the rest, but I feel like he rested Dost. Didn't really feel like he needed a rest. If he's gonna, I get the Chelsea and Contra because they have looked tired in recent games. Onto the actual game. I feel one of the worst. I know we're going to get into the best and worst, but I feel like that was a really poor performance from us. Obviously, like you said, I didn't beat Barcelona and Juventus to lose to Olympiacos. I knew we're going into the game that we were, or it's pretty much guaranteed that we're in the Europa League. Juventus aren't going to lose to a team like Olympiacos. No disrespect, but Juventus have got a fantastic team. When you just look at, you got Higuain, you got Dybala, some of the greatest players on the world in one team. So you got them, and then also you got just the performance of every. There are two players that I thought played well. I'll get on, but I feel like all the rest of the team, like you said, they really didn't have the fire. They didn't have the attitude to go and actually get a point. I'm not sure, or 3 points. I'm not sure if that's down to the players themselves. Is it down to tactics or the team talks? But I just in the future, I just wish they'd all look like they actually want to get stuff done. Especially Alan Ruiz. You said earlier was I saw your tweet. You said that he had no fire, no passion. And I felt it was the same for literally every except from the two I'm gonna put in my best is William Carvalho. I feel like he had possibly the worst game of his career in that shirt. He was awful. Gave the ball away so many times, lost possession. Excuse me. Made bad tackles. Didn't. I feel like he was just absolutely overrun by Rakitic and Andre Gomez. To be fair, I felt like Andre Gomez, as much as I take the piss out of him, he had a fantastic game against us. Uh, what else is there? So Patricio was fantastic, and the defense was, at times it was good, but Mateu with the own goal. I'm not sure if you agree, but it was either Mateu is going to hit it into his own net or the Barcelona player would score. Would you agree?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, his foot was just right there. He would have scored, yes, without a doubt. Yeah.
And I feel like if Mateu didn't go for that ball and Alcacer scored, that we would be saying, "Oh, why didn't Mateu slide for it?" So I don't blame Mateu for that at all. It happens. I'm not sure about you, Steph. I've scored a few own goals in my football career. It happens to professionals too. And as long as he keeps his head up and keeps the confidence, I feel like he should be just fine for the next game against Bovista.
Oh yeah, no, I mean, we're talking about someone that has played for one of the best teams in the world, Barcelona. So yeah, that won't affect him at all. Shit happens, really. I mean, it is what it is, and you move on, and that's it. But just to finish up on this, I would have put in Salah. I would have played Andre Pinto. I would have played João Palhinha, and I would have played Podence. I mean, that's just me. But today it felt like a preseason game. I was watching the game and I was like, oh, everyone seems to be so relaxed, including the Barcelona players. It didn't seem like a real game, to tell the truth. The game was a couple notches down, and the whole attitude about the players and stuff, I could see. Vistovsky, he was giving it all because he has a point to prove. I liked him. I like Piccini. I think he was the man of the match for me. He played extremely well. Coates as well. He got fooled one time by Suarez. The little play.
Oh yeah, yeah.
He chipped the ball and then Patricia saved the day. But he knows Coates quite well from the national team. So even Coates looked at him and said, "Damn, you got me, bro." But I don't know why he didn't play Podence. I mean, those games you want a fast player like Podence. I don't get it. I just don't get it. I would have left Bas Dost in Lisbon and Fabio Coentrão and maybe either Machi or Coates, and I would have played Andre Pinto. Oh, if not in Lisbon, at least on the bench. But if you're focusing on Boavista, it's okay. Let's focus on Boavista. But We still lost 2-0, and we still use players. I think we should have saved for Boavist's game. There's no need to risk an injury. There's no risk to exhaust them for the Boavista game. It was the last game of the Champions League, the sixth round. We had qualified for Liga Europa. I'm pretty sure they were tuned in into the Juventus game. They knew they were winning 1-0. So I would have been, my start 11 would have been way different. Certainly, Alan Ruiz has no place in being the starting 11, and I think now everyone agrees he should be sold in January. I don't think he's motivated. I think he lost the interest to be a Sporting player, and we should sell him in January ASAP. That's my take on it. This game was, like I said, it felt like a preseason game. It was actually, I'm not going to say a waste of my time, but I was not motivated watching the game. I was like, okay, whatever. No one really gives a shit. Then fine. So we got Liga Europa. That's how I felt as a fan. Like I could tell that, like you said, William Carvalho was one of his worst games, and I agree with you. He was kind of pacing himself. Um, but Douglas still gave it all. I like that. Acuna is getting back in form. I like that too. Fabio Cointran, when he came into the picture, was consistent. But I saw a lot of missed passes by Bruno Fernandes as well. Even Gelson Martins towards the end. I mean, we could have had some excellent counterattacks, and then they just mispassed the ball to each other. And and me as a fan, it gets on my nerves because I'm always optimistic to, oh, maybe we'll tie the game, and then we lost 2-0. But it is what it is. Let's move on. That I don't think we took this game seriously, and even Barcelona was playing at 50% really. So they won the group. They top seeded. So we went to Liga Europa, and let's make believe if we do win Liga Europa. Holy shit, you know what I mean? That would be great. And I'm hoping that we have a good run in Liga Europa, and that's it. And let's win the game against Boavista on Saturday.
Yeah, I agree. Just the last few points I want to add is that I agree Bruno Fernandes had a poor game as well. But if did you see that cross to Bastos where Bastos headed it against the goalkeeper? That was probably the best cross Bruno Fernandes will ever have in his life. How Bastos did not score those two chances that he had are beyond me. And I love Bastos, but found myself shouting at the TV. What are you doing? How did you? Oh, let's be honest, Steph. If that was me, I honestly think me and you probably could have scored that header, that open header. I don't understand how Bastos managed. So he either puts it left or right and it goes in, and he puts it down the middle. I don't understand his thought process behind that. And I know you said your man of the match was Pacini. I agree. For me, it was either Pacini or Patricio. Patricio let in two, but none of them were his fault. And when he was called into action, some of the saves he made were just Uh, fantastic. So yeah, Pacini was man of the match for me as well, but Patricio was not far behind. I'm not sure if you gave your worst player, but mine was definitely either Alan Ruiz or Alan Ruiz for the 45, but for the whole game it was William. Did you say that already, or did I miss you?
No, the worst player, but hands down, it was Alan Ruiz. I don't need. I don't know what he's doing at Sporting. He's not motivated. You can tell. I think he's sending a statement to Sporting management saying, and shame on JJ. He's insisting in him, and then we have players like Podence and Gelson Dalla that he should be focusing on and bringing them up. And then he's still insisting in Alan Ruiz, and I don't know why, because you could see, I think he's a good player. Don't get me wrong, but the motivation is not there. I think he's forcing to his exit, his way out. I think he's saying, "Listen, I don't want to be here, so I'm going to play like this every time you put me on the pitch," because he was not hustling. He kept on pacing himself, and that really got on my nerves because you saw Cunha, you saw Stefan Wisławski giving it all, and then he was just pacing himself. And then he fell a few times and he looked at the referee like saying, "Hey, how come you didn't call a foul?" Because it's not a foul. It's not a foul, jerk off. So get up and play football. That's what we want to see. And that was an excellent move by JJ to remove him from the pitch because he was awful, horrendous. I mean, he doesn't belong. He doesn't deserve to wear our jersey. He's just collecting the salary, and that's it. So sell him. Let him go. Let him go. So
Yeah,
anyway, yeah, I did mention about Bas Dost, the two goals he missed. Yeah, that really got on my nerves too. Because the goal is so big, and you have to kick it straight to the goddamn goalie. Goddamn, just pick one side, and he would have been goal easily. And then the second cross from the left wing when he shanked it, I'm like, what the hell is that? We could have been up 2-1 at one point. We could have been, and then Barcelona scored the 2-0, but it wouldn't make any difference. It was more for prestige. It would have been great for me as a fan, a Sporting fan, to say, hey, you know what, we went to come through and we tied the game.
yeah,
That's all I want. I want the prestige and being able to taste, a tie or possible win at Camp Nou, which I think it was reachable to the Sporting team. We could have won at Camp Nou if we just took it a little bit more seriously. I don't think we took it seriously at all, personally. By watching the demeanor and the body language of the players, I don't think we took it seriously, and that's fine because we got the bare minimum was Liga Europa, and it was a great Champions League campaign. I'm proud of my team, and this game was just a scrimmage, really, and that's it. There's nothing much to say about this game, really. But I would have played Podence, Jean Paulinho, than Pinto. I would have played them because they need those minutes. They needed those Champions League minutes, and shame on JJ by not putting them on the pitch.
yeah. The last two things I just want to add to this game, that I thought Gelson when he came on was fantastic. I felt like gave the team a new motivation. Even on the defending side, I thought he played very well. And then the last thing is that if, like you said, it wasn't the bare minimum, Sporting could have finished with 0 points with a minus 13 goal difference, but we made it into the Europa League. So I think although we didn't have per se a successful Champions League campaign, I think we can look back and think, wow, I think we held our own against Barcelona, we held our own against Juventus, we beat Olympiacos twice. It's not easy things to do in the Champions League. So overall, I'm proud of what we did in this competition, and like you said, on to the Europa League. Is that all for today, Steph? Have you got anything else you want to add, or is that it?
Okay, no, there's a couple things. This past weekend, our modalities, all of our teams in volleyball, in handball, in hockey patins, in the youth league, our ladies, our judo, uh, uh, everything. We won everything this weekend. So I would just want to give two thumbs up to our modalidades. They did great. In handball, we in first place. In volleyball, we in first place with Benfica. We have the same amount of points, basically the same thing. Hockey patins, we in first place with the four other teams, with Porto, Benfica, and Oliveirense. So in juniors, we're looking good. In under 19 and under 17, we're looking good. Under 15, we're looking good. So our ladies are still in first place with 5 points ahead of the second place, which is Sporting Braga. So I'm very, very, very proud of our all of our teams. Futsal, we're dominating. We just finished we completed the first round of 13 games, and we're still in first place. And we will be in first place. There's no one that can beat us in futsal. We have the better team. The one closest to us, it's Benfica and Braga. This year they're a couple notches down. But besides that, if you're a Sportingista and you don't follow these teams, it's a shame. You should. That's why we got the new pavilion, João Rocha, which, by the way, they have a new store, Loja Verde. It's now open and available. So if you ever go to Portugal, check it out. Now we have two stores, which is good stuff. And also, last but not least, the youth league, we tied 1-1 against Barcelona today. and Rafael Leão scored the tying goal at minute 90th. We finished second place, which means in the youth league it's a little bit different. Whoever finishes first goes through the 16th round right away, and then whoever finishes second, they still have to play a playoff to go into the 16th round. So Sporting at least qualified in the playoff mode, and then if they win their playoff game, they'll go into the 16th round, which is oitavos finais. Uh, and we had amazing performances against Juventus. We won twice against them. We tied twice against Olympiacos, and we lost at home against Barcelona 1-0. But we tied today at Camp Nou. Well, not at Camp Nou. It is they call it the mini stadium, 1-1. So I'm very proud of our kids. They performed really well, and now they have a shot of going far in the youth league, and hopefully they can win the title and bring it home. That would be the first time. Benfica was close to it, the youth league, but they lost the final. So never know. Porto will make it as well. Even if they lose tomorrow, they still qualify for the playoff. If they win against Monaco, they needed to tie. They'll move on to the round 16. The Benfica kids, they lost and they out of the tournament. But besides that, that's it. I mean, I would like my Portuguese to also focus on the other teams that we have. They real professionals. They doing really great, and it's not just good enough to say, hey, we won the futsal championship and volleyball championship and handball championship. Get into it. I mean, follow the teams, and you'll see you'll have a lot of fun, and I'm a big Modalidades fan, a big one, and part of being Sócio do Sporting, it's because those fundings, they go towards the Modalidades. So the more sócios we have, the more money we have to improve our hockey patins or handball or futsal team. So that's where they get the revenue from. It's from the sócios, the cotas dos sócios. I just paid a whole year again until December. For me, my father, and my son, and also I bought the newspaper online for Sporting. It's actually pretty cheap. It's only like 32 euros, $32 for the whole year online version. So I can go and see the games and buy the tickets, but I do as much as I can from the United States, and I'm not even using the benefits of being in a socio, because you get discounts in to go see the museum and to buy tickets, to buy merchandise. I'm not even using those benefits. I'll use it this summer when I go to Portugal in July, and I'll be able to. I already spoke to a few friends, and my father is coming with me and my son. We're going to the game of the Cinco Violins. That's a sure thing. I'm going to have a lot of fun, take a lot of pictures, and cry and sing, and I'm going to be the most lunatic fan at the Estádio de Alvalade. Everyone will notice, believe me, and I'll post it on Twitter too. And that's it. That's all I have for you guys. And I just love my Sporting, and I'm totally in love with my Sporting, and I'll give it all. And I'm so glad that you and I came up with this podcast, because I love talking about Sporting. I would do it for all night long if I could. But I do have to go to work, so so that's all I got, Sam.
All right, that's pretty much where we're going to end the show. Thank you, Steph, for that roundup. Thank you for coming on. Like I said, Danny will be on next episode, hopefully. But other than that, thank you all for listening. We do love this podcast. We love sporting, so we'll try to do this as often as we can, because we love doing it as well. So,
I have one more thing. Next podcast will be, I believe, on Monday, we said. And then yes, because Sporting plays Boa Vista on Saturday, so we said Monday, and we'll have a special guest, o Leão Interno, Brito. So yeah, he has agreed to come to our podcast from Portugal. So if you follow him on Twitter, Leão Interno, Interno Leão will be on our podcast, which is really exciting. He's really excited too. He's a real Sportingist. He goes to every time he can go to. He lives in Lisbon, so he goes to every home game and Modalidades games. Pavilhão João Rocha. He gives me so much feedback that sometimes I miss it, and He's just a real Sportingista, like a 100%. He's always on Twitter posting stuff. So follow him too. Inter Leão Brito. He's a great kid. Great kid. That's it.
All right. So that's where we're going to end today's podcast. Tune in next Monday for the next one.
Oh,
Until
one
then.
more thing. Just one more thing.
Oh, go on.
One of my favorite guitarists from Chutes e Pontapés, Pedro, passed away. And, it's a really sad day. So it was just a few days ago. And I wish him, I can wish him anything. He passed away. But my condolences to his family. And I don't know if you knew him, but I loved him. I met him in person. He came to Newark, New Jersey. And he played at the Newark High School pavilion. And I was able to talk to them face to face, and they were very cool. He gave me a few souvenirs, and we'll just miss him tremendously because Chutes e Pontapés without him, without Zé Pedro, and he was Benfiquista, but you know what? It doesn't matter. I liked him as an individual, and because of his skills, um, and we'll miss him forever. And it was just a sad day for me when I found out he passed away. That's it.
Yeah, I do know of him mostly from the Mini Casino, obviously. The song When Portugal Won the Euros. Still have that on my playlist today because it brings back such good memories of that day. So yeah, rest in peace to him. Like I said though, next Monday, and we shall see you then.